Rev up your engines!
Jack C says, Scotty, I got an '05 Nissan Altima. It runs great, but the underside is bad rust. There's even a hole in the passenger side floor panel. Is there any way to control the rust? What can I do? Okay, unfortunately, like Neil Young sang, rust never sleeps, and it doesn't. Once rust starts, the metal actually rusts from the inside out. It's rotting away. Now, where the hole is, you could cut out the hole and have a guy weld in a piece of steel or aluminum pan so you don't have a hole there. And if you want, you could try having somebody sand it all down, the underside, the rusty parts, and then spray it all with rust preventatives and undercoating and stuff, and it'll slow it down. But really, the undercoating stuff is best on a brand new vehicle when it's made. Like most new cars are made with special paint that's electrostatically put in when the frame and the body goes into a giant little lake of paint, and the electrostatic charge of one's negative, one's positive, and it sticks, even goes inside the frame. So then you don't worry about rusting. But on older cars, once they start rusting, it's pretty much, you can't do that much to stop it, because it started, like I say, sand it down, get it coated, but it still keep falling apart. Once that rust starts, it's pretty much the end of a vehicle. South Grain says, hey Scotty, I got a 2007 Chrysler 300 SRT. What do you think about that? They are fun to drive. They're stinking fast cars. I got customers with them, and I love it when I work on them to road test them, because they are screamers. But that said, they're extremely expensive to repair when they break. It's an automatic. That's one of the weakest points of those things. And as for the engine, it's a very strong engine, but you do want to take care of it. Don't listen to the garbage that people tell you can change your oil every 10,000 miles. I would change the oil on that every 5,000 miles religiously with synthetic oil. Make it last as long as it can, because when an engine or transmission does break, more money in the car is worth to fix it in most cases if you have an automatic. Sky High says, is a turbo cool down necessary on a diesel engine? They always used to tell you to cool them down because they wanted things to last a long time, and that was a good idea. See, here's the thing. You're driving your car. The turbo spins faster than anything. The exhaust gas spins it, then it rams air into the engine. Most modern cars have turbos that are either oil-cooled or oil and water-cooled, so they run at a pretty decent temperature that you're not going to really have any problems with it, just shutting it off when you're done driving. Unless you're racing around like a lunatic, and if you are driving as hard as you can, then I'd let it cool down for a minute or two before I'd shut it down. Now, the reason they told the really old cars, like in the 60s and 70s, to let the turbo cool down was because a lot of those were naked turbos. They didn't have water cooling, and a lot of them didn't have engine oil cooling, and so they would get really hot, and if you didn't let them idle and cool down a little bit, they would warp and they would wear out faster. But on most really modern ones that are oil, water cooled, you really don't need to cool it down when you shut them off, unless, like I say, you're racing around like a maniac. A Minty Channel says, Scotty, I'm thinking about buying a 90s Ford F-150 5-speed, four-wheel drive. What's your opinion? What should I look out for? Okay, if it's in good shape, that can be an excellent truck, because it's a 5-speed. The 5-speed makes the big deal of difference. The things that wear out on those are the automatic transmission. You get a standard, and you want a four-wheel drive truck, hey, now, it's a 90, so, you know, it's pushing 30 years old. You want to always pay a mechanic like me to check it out before you buy it, so they can check the transfer case, they can check the engine, they can see, and it depends on what 90s. If it was pre-95, the scan tools don't do much, but if it's 96 up, the scan tools can tell you an awful lot, so you'd want it checked out with a scan tool if it was 95 or newer. But they can be excellent trucks, you know. They'll have a little bit of wear, but you can always fix them because parts are available for them, and they were pretty well built, especially with the standard transmission. Ghost 88 says, Scotty, my '07 Corolla got mechanically stopped at 299,999 miles on the speedometer. The dealer wants $580 to replace it. Should I go to my local mechanic, replace it one from another? Yes. I mean, we mechanics do that all the time. Go to a junkyard, buy a used one, and put it in. Those things are so expensive. If you want to buy a new one, they cost a ton of money. And in my case, the ones that I normally fix for my customers, I go to a junkyard, I can get a whole dash for older ones for like 70, 80 bucks. And I just pop the dash out, takes 20 minutes, and pop the new dash in, and away you go. Georgia Wanta says, hey Scotty, greeting from Moldova. My Audi A3 makes a grindy noise when steering in sharp corners left and right. Even when stationary, I turn it all the way. What could be the problem? First thing you want to do is have a mechanic look at your power steering pump. Make sure it's full of fluid. We actually have gauges we can hook up to it, and we can see if the pump's going out, and when it gets to all the way to the edge, you turn hard. If it has to work hard and it's wearing out, it can make noises, so have that checked too. The other thing is, you want to check, since you said it'll do it sometimes even if it's sitting on the ground, you turn it all the way, you want to have a mechanic check the power steering rack, because if the rack's going out, when you go the whole way to the edge, it strains it, and if the rack's wearing, a lot of times it'll make horrible noises. Either way, it's an expensive endeavor to fix on an Audi. I mean, if it's driving drive's okay otherwise, and you have steering that doesn't bind, that goes smooth, as long as the fluid's full, I'd probably live with that particular problem, because the racks and the power steering pumps and those Audis cost a small fortune.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.